Hello. Oh, there we go. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the last breakout session of today. Looks like we're not quite full. If you'd like to move up to the front, it's a lot easier to see what's going to be going on. If you'd like to move up to the front, maybe. Or maybe you're just scared. That's okay. Maybe you're going to get a really good seat to go see Colin Powell, who's going to come on right after this. Maybe anybody who here is going to go see the keynote afterwards? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, good. Well, I'll hopefully get you out of here on time so that you can go see the retired general talk about what he's going to talk about. But what we're going to talk about right now is hands-on, enabling your sales channel with Salesforce CRM Partners. Whew, that's a mouthful. Hey, I wanted to make a couple of quick announcements before we get started. If you're interested in learning more about any of our training offerings, I have a training expert. Her name is Kelly. She's right here, and she'll be available after this session is completed to answer any of your questions about any of the training offerings that we in our Training Insert group offer you. And that's my only announcement. So, actually, a couple other ones. Any questions that you might have, hold those questions till the end so that we can hopefully address those for the folks who have their questions, and then the folks who want to go see Colin Powell can do so. And then there was one other, sorry? There are, in the back of the room, actually sprinkled throughout the room, helpers. So helpers, raise your hands. Helpers, helpers, helpers. Wow, look at all those helpers. An army of helpers. And they're here to do what? They're here to help you. So we're going to be going through some exercises in this course, and if you run into some trouble with those exercises, we have helpers available to help you. And then I guess the last announcement is about me. I have a cold. That's my name, actually. But before that, I need to let you know that I have a cold. I might lose my voice, so I'll need to have your sympathy. Everybody say, "Aw." Thank you. I needed that. Good. Okay, that gives me enough energy to get through the last 60 minutes. My name is Chris Piper. I'm what they call a practice manager. It's kind of a fancy title. It just means I do lots of things for our education services department, one of which is I deliver these kinds of courses at Dreamforce. I really enjoy doing it. I've been doing it for a while. Some of you may have seen me in other hands-on training sessions, or I may have had you in my administrator workshops. Hi. You guys are doing well with the product and with the platform. We are going to go through in this next 60 minutes an amount of content to help you get started with and use Salesforce CRM for Partners. But before we do that, we have to deal with our favorite statement. That's the safe harbor statement. My lawyers, they're not really mine, they're my company's lawyers, they make me tell you the following, and that is that any business or technological decisions that you make must be on current, not future functionality. That protects all of us so that we know that anything we're doing is not on something we've been talking about, but on something that's actually out there and used. If you have any more interest, curiosity, horror maybe around the safe harbor statement, you can go to salesforce.com. That's our website. And you can do a keyword search for safe harbor statement, and you can read this text to your heart's content. So as with all of these hands-on training sessions, we give you guys orgs, or instances of our platform, in which you can go through some exercises that we're going to run through for you now. Let's make sure we can get logged into our orgs. So as you've seen in other hands-on training sessions, there's a naming convention that controls the username that you're going to use. Many of you should by now be familiar with that, but just in case, here we're going to use admin for administrator, and then the @ sign, and then DF09, self-explanatory, sales channel, all lowercase, all one word, and then that number that you see on the upper right-hand corner of your monitor. And then .com. Don't forget .com. I'm always surprised at how many people forget to put in the .com. So you got to do that too. And then the password for everyone is password 1. That's password PASSWORD, and the number 1, no spaces. So anybody not able to log in to their training org, please raise your hand. If you're not able Wow, you guys are good. Oh, except for one. So the helper will help you get logged into your training org. Everyone else, we should, looks like Brendan is logging into his training org here, or he's not maybe. Let's see, what is he doing? We had a big offsite here on the Train and Cert folks on Sunday, the day before the classes started. And I learned some interesting things about Brendan. I thought I knew Brendan, but I've learned some new things about Brendan. I learned that Brendan in high school was in not one but two heavy metal bands. Two heavy metal bands. Yes, so if you're interested in learning about Salesforce CRM Partners or heavy metal, you may want to talk to Brendan at the conclusion of this particular session. So Brendan is feverishly, fiendishly, with a heavy metal twist, putting in his username. There he goes. Oops. Let's see what's going on here. We've got to make sure we go to the right application here. Are we going to the right application? The other thing is that you also should have some documentation. You all should have, oops, I said it, sorry. You all should have, I did it again, a document which is all of the slides that we're going to be going through, and then the exercise guide. So for all of the exercises that we're going to be reviewing, there should be a step-by-step guide for that. Anybody not have the documentation? So can one of our helpers, get this gentleman up in the front and also this gentleman over here, the documentation. We need some documentation. Keep your hands up so that they can see who needs documentation. Keep your hands good and high. Okay, do we get logged in? All right, cool. So let's move on to the next slide. The agenda that we're going to cover over the next 60 or so minutes is going to begin with an overview of what Salesforce CRM Partners is. What is this thing? Some of you may know it as the Partner Portal. That was the old name. Don't use that name anymore. Every time I use that name, I get docked $50, so I'm not going to use that name anymore. It's Salesforce CRM Partners. That's the new name. We're going to talk about what it is and how it can help your business through your partners, through the channel. So we're going to enable or set up this functionality in our training orgs. It's pretty easy to do. We're going to look at how you can enable an account to become a partner account, and you can enable a contact on that account to become a partner. And then we're going to look at how we can customize the portal, right? The way by which one of our partners logs in and works with data on our Salesforce org. And then we're going to go through a use case. We're going to talk about how we would share records. In this case, we're going to look at sharing a lead, because a lot of what you do with partners is they register leads. Maybe you find a lead and you give it to them, or vice versa. And then the idea here is that we can, through this functionality, very efficiently manage how we work with our partners in various capacities. And then we're going to look at the using aspect of this, where we're going to show you how we can run through a very simple use case where we share a lead with a partner, and then the partner can actually convert the lead, and the partner can work the deal for us, very common use case. And then we can be notified when the partner closes the deal. And so from a reporting, from a workflow, from a dashboard perspective, all that data is updated for us, and we can use it all in real time, and hopefully can drive collaboration. So that's what we're going to do. And then if there's time at the end, I'm going to do some QA for those of you who don't want to go see the general. So what is Salesforce CRM Partners? Well, it's a way for you to be able to use Salesforce functionality, use our platform in the cloud, to be able to connect with your partners. We all know that in most businesses and most industries these days, partnerships are vital. They're the only way that we can scale up and down. They're the only way that we can collaborate and leverage specialization and skill sets. And so we need to use partners. But the problem is, when we use partners, we tend to have problems communicating with our partners, right? We tend to have problems figuring out how our partners are leveraging their skill set. We have problems, especially around deal registration and channel management, a lot of problems there. And a lot of those problems are technological in nature. They have to do with different infrastructure, different applications, different operating systems. Those things are all, they don't tend to be the same from company to company. And so we see lots of problems. Salesforce CRM Partners solves that problem by allowing you to very easily connect with your partners, allowing you to very easily collaborate with them, and then hopefully through all of that, they're not just your partner, they're part of a community. They'll be more loyal to you, they'll want to use you more, and you'll want to use them more. And that's the hoped for result of implementing and using this functionality. How does it work? Well, you'll be able to know your channel ROI. So because everybody's working on the same data set, right? We're all using the same data, our partners and ourselves. Any updates are in real time. So any reports that we're running as channel managers, any dashboards that we're reviewing or monitoring, those are all updated real time. So ROI is actually a pretty powerful driver here. In addition, you can drive more business. We all know that with partners, the first one who gets the business, or if we are a partner, if we can get the business first, we have a better chance of winning that business. Because the data you're all working with is the same, and because the functionality is all centralized, then speed is your advantage. And so you can work much more rapidly, much more quickly with your partners, and they can with you. This will hopefully develop loyalty. I know in our training and cert business, we use a lot of different partners, we use a lot of different contractors, and I value trust when I'm working with partners, and I value loyalty. And one of the ways that I can do that is by a partner being able to work with me in a much more collaborative manner. And hopefully using this functionality you can achieve that. And lastly, you'll be allowing for business to be a lot more easy than it would otherwise be because, again, you're all using the same data set, you're all using the same functionality. So I want to mention quickly here that partners, or the Salesforce CRM Partners functionality, is not free. You have to purchase it. It's an additional cost. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but I'm sure your AE, or your salesperson for Salesforce, would love to tell you how much that is. So we sell it on a per license basis, just like our basic service. If you're interested in what those costs are, you want to make sure that you have a conversation with your salesperson about that. Maybe your CSM, maybe somebody else who you're in contact with, but definitely have that conversation. Once you do purchase this functionality, how do you turn it on? Well, it's pretty easy to turn on. We here in this room are probably mostly administrators, so we enable this functionality simply by going into that setup menu. We don't have to do that today. We've already done that for you, but I want you to know how you do it. You go into that setup menu. We all know how to click on that setup link and bring up that sidebar. Once you're in there, you go into the app setup area. You go down to partner settings, and there's a checkbox. And you click on that checkbox, and that's it. Lots of things going on in the background. We're going to talk about what some of those background things are. But for you guys, it's just a checkbox. So once that's enabled, you click on the checkbox, and Salesforce CRM Partners is enabled. So what's happening in the background here? Well, lots of things. So one of the themes that I'd like to bring up now and reiterate is that managing your partners is much like, or I say administering your partners is much like administering your Salesforce users on a regular Salesforce org. So we all know that we can administer users through things like profiles and roles and a user record. Those are the basic ways by which we manage users. Hey, it's pretty much the same thing for partners. There are profiles, and there are users, and there are roles that are used for partners in addition to Salesforce users. In that vein, when you enable this functionality, what will happen is 3 additional roles will be created, and these 3 additional roles are the executive level role, the manager level role, and the user or the end user level role. And so what this allows for is when you're working with partners, you can give some of your partners, maybe the C-level persons in your partner channel, more access than the manager level, and in turn they can have more access than the end user level. So just like you can control access to data in a Salesforce org through roles, right, access to records, you can control access to data in your org for your partners as well. Now a little detail-y thing here that you want to definitely understand. Once you enable this, for that first partner that you enable, that first contact, you're not going to have many choices as to which of these you can assign that contact to, but you'll be able to make more changes as you enable more contacts to be partners. And I'll show you more how this works when we actually walk through some of this functionality. So administering this is really easy. A lot of this can be done right through the UI. So basically what you're going to be doing here is you're going to enable an account as a partner account, right? So the company that you're working with that'll be an account in your org. Just like your customers have accounts in your org, your partners will have accounts in your org. So you'll enable them as partners. And then once you enable them as partners, you'll then there will then be enabled behind the scenes 3 roles. So for a given account, there will be the executive role, the manager role, and the end user role for each account. Now, you won't see any of these roles in that role hierarchy. We all know what the role hierarchy, we've all seen that? Yeah, right. Don't we all love the role hierarchy, right? You're not going to actually see these roles in the hierarchy, but they're there behind the scenes. So you can't move them around. They're kind of hard-coded. But you will be able to, for a given partner user, and I'll show you how this works, you'll be able to move that partner from the end user up to the manager up to the executive if you want to for that account. So once you enable the account as a partner account, then you can go through and for the contacts, you can enable the contacts as well to be partner users. And so what's really nice about this is the functionality is very similar to the functionality that you use to manage users on an org. It's just that these are special kinds of users, namely partner users. Okay, so let's actually run into or walk into or fall into, whatever you want to do, an exercise here where we're going to actually set up some of this functionality at the global level. And again, you guys all have exercise guides. And I know people like to learn differently. Some people like to follow the leader, so like to follow me and Brendan. Others like to use documentation, the recipe format. I want to follow the steps to make my creme brulee or my quiche or my filet mignon or whatever I'm not going to be having for dinner tonight. So you have different ways to learn. We have different ways to teach you. So you may want to follow us up here. You may want to actually just go through the exercise guide. Totally your call. So we're going to actually go through an exercise here where our fictitious company, we call that AW Computing. They're a fictitious company. They're kind of like Dell. They sell hardware and they sell peripherals and they sell services like consulting and support. That's AW. They want to enable ABC networks. So they have a partner that they work with called ABC Networks. And they're going to enable them as a partner on the Salesforce, or the AW Computing org. So AW has already enabled the functionality, but now we need to take that next step, right? We need to go in as administrators and set up all of the different things to allow us to work with ABC Networks as a partner. So we're going to enable the partner account, and then we're going to enable the partner user. So let's now switch over to the org, the training org. You should all be very well familiar with training org. And we're going to first go to the accounts tab here. So notice how Brendan very deftly clicks on his accounts tab. Good job, Brendan. And we're going to actually take a look at a list view. We all should know what the list view functionality is about. We're going to look at the all accounts list view. So click on that go button. And you should see there at the very top an account ABC Networks. So go ahead and click into that account. And what we're going to do is, very simply, click on that big button there, Enable as Partner. Now this button only shows up because we've enabled Salesforce CRM Partners for this org, right? That's why. So once you've done that, you'll get a pop-up. Make sure you confirm it's okay to enable this as a partner. And now, this is a partner account. Okay? Pretty easy. I don't think so. Not too terribly difficult. So we're going to move on now from the account to the contact. So notice how Brendan is mousing over the related list hover functionality. We have one contact on this account. It's Arnold Adams. Go ahead and select the contact. And here what we're going to do is enable this contact as a partner contact. So there's a big button there called Enable Partner. Actually, is that right? Enable Partner Portal Login, is that right? Did we get that right? Did we miss something here? Doubting myself. Why do I doubt myself? Must be the drugs. Okay, click on the Enable Partner Portal button there. Enable Partner Portal button. And now, look at this. It looks just like a user record, right? We've all seen user records before. So, again, the notion here is you manage partners just like Salesforce users through a partner user. And here it is. So what I'd like for you guys to do is make a quick change here. I want you to go into the username field. and I want you to change up what's in that username field. What I'd like you to do is make a quick change here. Just put in your 3 initials, right? My initials are CJP, right, for Chris James Piper. Put in your initials there. Why are we doing this? Well, we have to make sure that all of these users are unique, so this is how we do that. So once you've done that, you can go ahead and click on the Save button. And there you have your partner user. Now, what we want to do now is log into the partner portal as the partner to see what that partner looks like or what that portal looks like. There's a couple of ways to do this. I'm going to point them out to you. You'll notice that on the user record, there's actually a contact link now. It's kind of halfway down the right-hand side. You could just click on that, but the exercise guide actually has you go into the Contacts tab. So you can actually go back into the Contacts tab, and you should see there in Recent Contacts Arnold Adams. However you get to the Arnold Adams contact, get to the Arnold Adams contact. Doesn't matter how you do that. Once we're back in the Arnold Adams contact, I have a new button here. This new button is Log In as Portal User. So I want to point out a couple of things here. This is an authenticated set of functionalities. So Arnold Adams, when we enable him as a partner portal user, is going to get an email, and the email goes to whatever the email address is on that user record that I showed you. And just like with the Salesforce user, Arnold will get a temporary password, right? We've all seen this a million times. And Arnold will be able to log in through the partner portal using the temporary password. He'll have to then change to a permanent password, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But for us as administrators, we have a really nice shortcut here that we can use to actually view through Arnold's portal what he can actually see of our org. And that's very similar to what you guys may already know of as the Grant Login Access functionality. You guys know about GLA, Grant Login Access? Who here loves GLA? Yeah, right. Isn't it great? Isn't it great? I love GLA. It's the same thing, right? So it's really nice. I don't have to know what Arnold's password is. I don't have to know anything about Arnold. Click on that button. We go into the partner portal. So let's do that. Click on that button, and here is the partner portal. Very simple. Now this is a kind of out-of-the-box configuration of the partner portal, but if you'll notice, it has a very similar look and feel to a Salesforce org, right? It's a very similar look and feel to a Salesforce org, so that Arnold is viewing and working with information very similarly to what your users are doing in a basic org. Okay, so once you've clicked through a couple of those tabs to see what that looks like, go ahead and log out. We're going to go back into our org. Now notice, just like with the Grant Login functionality, you log out of the partner portal, logs right back into the Salesforce org. So that concludes exercise 1. Exercise 1, that was pretty easy. What we're going to now do is go in and see how we can customize the look and feel of this org. So the org that you saw, the partner portal, kind of boring. Needs to be maybe customized a little bit more. A lot of times what you want to do through your channel is you want to be able to mimic the look and feel of your company's website for your partners. Put logos, put messages, maybe attach style sheets, those kinds of things. Very easy to do this through the partner portal. So what we're going to look at now is how we can go back into this portal that we created and make some sort of graphic-oriented changes. So let's go over to exercise 2, customizing the partner portal. What AW now wants to do is add their company logo so that Arnold sees AW whenever he uses the partner portal. And he wants to also add a message so that whenever Arnold logs in, he sees a message, which is really nice, right? We might have spiffs that we want to communicate to our partners. We may have other kinds of contests that we're trying to do to drive more partner business. We can very easily communicate these things to our partners by creating these messages that can then be published on to the partner portal. So we're going to do both of those things. Let's go back into the org here. And we're going to go back up to Setup. It brings up the admin sidebar again. Make sure you click No for critical updates there, and uncheck the Remind Me Again in a Week checkbox. Just go ahead and do that for me if you could. And then we're going to go back into that sidebar here. We're going to go into App Setup, and then we're going to expand Customize. Go on down to where it says Partners, and you should have in there Settings. So go ahead and click on Settings. And we're going to make some changes to this portal. Notice that you can make multiple portals, right? So you may have multiple partners, multiple channels. You can create different portals to customize the experience of each of those. Maybe some of your partners need more access. Others need less access. You can actually create various and multiple portals. We're going to stick with the one. Going to keep it simple. So see how Brendan has moused over the partner portal there. Notice how he's done that. Very important that you do that. Click into the portal. And this is the detail of the portal that we just set up. So there's the email address. There's the new user template. All kinds of information out of the box that controls all the different kinds of communication that you're going to use to communicate with and work with your partners through the portal. So we're going to make a couple of changes here to kind of, gussy up the portal a little bit. So click on that Edit button. And then what we're going to do is we're going to first put in a header. So go down there to where it says Look and Feel. It's that Look and Feel section. And in the header, you're going to type in header. That's pretty original. And you're going to click on that little lookup icon there at the very bottom. And what you'll see is a header that we very strategically pre-placed in there for you called Header AW Computing. So go ahead and click on that. And that's going to put a header right in that portal. So every time those users log in, they're going to see the AW Computing company logo, right? Okay, so the next thing, once you've done that, click on the Save button. So the next thing we're going to do is put a message, right, so that we can communicate stuff out to our partners when they log into the portal. So notice that Brendan is now back into the details screen of the portal. Now he's going to go down here to the section on the bottom. Notice that you're at the bottom of the partner portal. It's called Assigned Languages. Excuse me. Wow, I don't want to blow you guys out there. Click on that Add New Language button. Now, there's a couple of things you can do here when you click on that button once that comes up. You can modify the language that your portal users see this data through, much like the language functionality that we have in an org. We're not going to do that, but in case you needed to do that, right, you're a global organization. It's very common. You may need to actually push data out in multiple languages. You could do that. But what we're going to do instead is add a message here so that on the Home tab, which is where folks log in initially, we're going to put a message up there. So type in Home, and then click on that lookup icon again. And you should see another strategically placed message here called Homepage Message awcomputing.html. Go ahead and select that. And that's the HTML, right? That's the web page that's going to display when you first log in as a partner portal user. So when you've done all that, click on the Save button. Now we're going to see what it looks like. So we're going to go find that Arnold Adams contact again. So Brendan is going up to the Contacts tab there. And you should see Arnold Adams there in the Recent Contacts list. Click into that. And then we're going to log in again as Partner Portal user. So click on that button, and oh boy, look at that. Things look different, right? So you see at the top, we've got a header, which is the AW Computing logo plus the ever iconic handshake image. So that's the header. We added that header so that now when we log in, we're using that company logo, right? So it's gone from just a plain Jane out of the box, kind of boring, I don't really have a lot of interest in it, partner portal, to something a little bit more fun, right? A little bit more easily identifiable. And the second thing is the message. And notice this isn't just any plain old message. What this is instead is something that shows us news, shows us maybe a Premier program, spiff, and click on that and get more information about a Premier program. None of these links are actually live here, so if you click on them, you're not going to actually get anything. But the idea here, you guys, is so you can see how much customization, how much configuration you can actually do pretty easily in Salesforce CRM Partners. Okay, so once you've taken a good old gander at that, click on that log out link, and it's going to log you out of the portal, and it's going to log you back in to the org. And that should conclude exercise number 2. Exercise number 2. And we're going to move on now to kind of changing. We're going to switch gears here. We've been looking at this functionality from an administrator perspective. kind of good to know about. But hey, what about those end users? It's kind of important to know what they're going to be doing, how they're going to experience this. So we're going to now see how a partner, one of the partners, would actually work with deals through the partner portal. So let's move on to the next exercise here, using Salesforce CRM Partners. So here AW is working with somebody there at ABC Networks throughout the selling process. So we're going to work leads and opportunities with Arnold at ABC Networks. So what we've done is we've collected a lead, Byron Batts, and he's somebody who works at St. Francis Hospitals, kind of a healthcare type of accounts. And this is something that for the AW computing world, we're going to hand off to a partner, right? We're going to have them handle this kind of business. So what we're going to see is how we might actually, in this case, work the lead, qualify the lead, get it ready to convert, and then we'll hand it off to Arnold at ABC Networks to actually work the deal through the sales cycle and hopefully win that deal. Let's go back into the org. And the first thing we're going to do is go to the Leads tab. Click into that Leads tab. And there should be a lead there called Byron Batts. And I think the way you're meant to find it is to go into the All Open Leads list view and then click on the Go button. And about halfway down that screen should be Byron Batts, St. Francis Hospital. He's a hot lead. We think he might be ready to buy. Now I want to mention here, we're going to show you one way to do this. There are many ways that you can control data access to your partners. Typically, although not always, AW Computing or the parent org is going to control most aspects of this data. And the configuration or the ability of the partners to edit this data will be very limited. In other models, partners have a lot more ability to modify information. But what the importance is of all of this is that there is one set of data that we're all working with, partners as well as folks in Salesforce. That's the key. Now for us here, what we're going to do is we at AW Computing are actually qualifying the leads. So we have some inside sales, telesales, whatever you want to call them, at AW Computing. They're getting leads, however they're coming in through the various channels, web, email, shows, whatever it is, and they're at AW Computing qualifying those leads. So we're going to actually set this lead. We're going to, actually let's edit the lead first. So go to the edit button, and we're going to change the lead status from open to qualified, right? And so now because it's a qualified lead, I want to give it over to Arnold Adams at ABC to work, right? So the lead is qualified. Now I need to share the lead to Arnold. Right now, Arnold doesn't have any access to this lead. Notice the owner of the lead, Matt Wilson, right? So because Matt's the owner, that means that Arnold won't have access to this lead. So we have to share the lead. So Brendan's going to click on the sharing button. This is very similar to that manual sharing functionality we all know. Anybody here, who here has used manual sharing? Manual sharing? Wow, yeah. It's a nice functionality. It allows you to share a specific record for a given reason. We're going to use that here. So we click on that add button. And now we can define who gets access to this record. So in that search pick list, you're going to want to select partner users. When you select partner users, you'll see partner user ABC Networks Arnold Adams. Again, we're drastically simplifying things here for training. In your world, it might be a little bit more complicated. But again, the functionality is basically just like this. And then the other thing you want to do is change the access from read-only to read-write. That's very important in this particular case. And you'll see why in just a second. So you've shared the lead out to Arnold. You've changed the access to read-write. And now you can go back and take a look at that lead one more time just in case. So go back up to Byron Batts. Take a look at that lead. And we're ready to let Arnold have at it with this lead. So let's again go find the Arnold Adams contact. And we're going to log into the portal through that great button there that we'll see in just a second. So we go to the Arnold Adams contact, and we're going to click once again on that Login as Portal User button. So click away, go on to that. Now we can go to the Leads tab. Go to Recently Viewed, or just All Open Leads. And here is the Byron Batts lead. And we've shared out to Arnold at ABC. So he's going to now take a look at this lead. So we're going to click into this lead. Notice that it's different, right? It doesn't have that yellowish kind of look, but it's very similar to how we would see it in a Salesforce org. So the way it works with AW and ABC is, we're qualifying the lead, but Arnold has the final say. He is going to determine if he is going to invest some of his precious sales reps' time to actually work this deal, right? And so Arnold looks over the Byron Batts lead, and he says, I think I could actually make some money off this. So Arnold, the partner, is going to convert the lead. That's very important. We can actually allow our partners now to go through this very important conversion process. So here we see, once we click on the Convert button, your basic, lead conversion wizard. We've all seen this a million times, right? This is that basic lead conversion wizard. But who's doing the converting? Not us at AW. Arnold at ABC is doing the converting. And that's what's really powerful about this functionality. So what Arnold is going to do is going to look through and say, I want to do St. Francis Hospital, and I think we're going to sell them 20 computers. I'm not sure what they are, maybe laptops or desktops. And he can put in all that other information if he wants to. He could, this is just that basic wizard, right? Just like we've seen a million times before. Once he's put in the information, click on the Convert button. And here I have a converted lead. Now I want to show you guys something. Go to the recent items. Now you would think that Arnold would have access to the account, the contact, and the opportunity. We all know that that's what happens when we convert. So Brendan, click into the opportunity there. Notice what you see, an error message. Why is this? Well, Matt Wilson is still the owner of these records, and that means that Arnold doesn't have access to the converted records. And that's also very important because you want to control access to the data. You might not want Arnold to have access to these other records. You may want him to have access to the account, the contact, and the opportunity, and that's fine, you can do that. But you might actually not want that. And depending on what you want, it's very easy to set it up through the functionality. So what we want to actually do is only give Arnold access to the opportunity, right? I don't want to give him access to the account or the contact, just to the opportunity. That's how it works here with AW and ABC. You may want to do it differently. You can very easily set it up that way. So what we're going to do is log out of the partner portal, and we're going to log back into the AW org, and we're going to go find that opportunity. So go back and find the opportunity. And the way you can do that is to do actually a search here. Notice how Brendan is doing a search. And don't forget to put the period after the ST. Put the period in there. Click on the Go button. And there is our St. Francis Hospital 20 computers opportunity. Notice that actually the stage is prospecting, and the close date is 12/31/2009. Why? Well, we didn't actually define that. Why are those values in those fields? Well, as you as administrators hopefully know, especially those of you who are certified administrators, that when you create an opportunity through conversion, the stage is the first stage in whatever the sales process is, right? Yeah, I see the head nodding there. Good. Are you certified? Oh, well, you're going to pass the test with no problem. And this close date will be the last day of the current fiscal year. And that's just kind of hard-coded functionality that you get when you convert leads into opportunities and these other records as well. So let's click into the opportunity here. So what we're going to do is, just like we shared the lead, we're going to share the opportunity to give Arnold the ability to work it. So click on that sharing button. And just like we did before, click on the add button. And we're going to select partner users once again, and Arnold, our buddy. And then we're going to give him read-write access to the opportunity, and click Save. Now we're going to make a couple other changes to this opportunity here. It's missing a little bit of information, so we're going to actually make a few additional changes. So we're going to click back into the opportunity. We're going to give this opportunity an amount. Needs that. And we're going to say it's 20K. And then we're going to change the stage. So we're going to say as part of our sales methodology, we can change any deal from prospecting to qualified. And then we can hand it back over to Arnold to continue to work the deal. So we're going to change that over to qualified. Click on the Save button. Oh, actually, sorry. I missed a field there. We're going to put in an amount of data in the description field as well. So St. Francis is very interested in something or other that we sell. Our computer. Thank you. There you go, Brendan. 2,000. Oh, with the exclamation points. Very nice touch, Brendan. So once you've done all that, click on the Save button. So here's the deal. Now we need to switch over again, right? We're going to see what Arnold will see and how he can work the deal. So go find your Arnold Adams contact. There's a bunch of ways to find it. You can go back to the Home tab, and you can go there to Recent Items. That's what Brendan is doing now. You can find Arnold Adams. Click into that contact. And once again, we'll log in as a portal user. And now if we go back and take a look at the opportunity and click into it, we should actually see the opportunity. So now Arnold can go and do his sales magic, right? Sales guys like to think that there's some magical, mystical, sort of otherworldly thing to being a good sales rep, right? So Arnold is going to go do that. He's going to go talk to Byron at St. Francis. He might go tour St. Francis. He may do all kinds of things that sales guys tend to do. But let's say that after doing all of those mystical, magical sales rep things, he gets the business. So he can actually go into the opportunity. So click on the Edit button there. And he can change the stage to closed won. And if you click on the Save button, notice that the close date changes to today, right? That's other basic functionality. It changes from 12/31 to 11/19. And that's really important because that means that from a reporting perspective, from a dashboard perspective, from workflow, from data validation, from Apex, anything that we've written, and lots of things tend to key off the close date, we know that no matter who updates that, no matter if it's the partner or if it's a user on the org, that all will work seamlessly with any of this other automation or data validation or analytics functionality that we may have set up. Okay, so once you've done that, click on the Logout button. Goes back into the org. We'll take a last look at the opportunity here. And we'll see that the stage has been updated to closed won, and the close date is today. So one set of data, two different ways to access it. Very nice from the standpoint of building and maintaining strong partner relationships, very fast ROI, and real-time analytics. And that should complete exercise number 3. So hopefully you found some value out of these past 60 or so minutes. If you would like to learn more about the kinds of things that we train on, again, Kelly would be your expert. She's now in the back, and she'll be able to help you out with that. We also have a brand new product called Premier Training. So for those of you who may have a training program that you're trying to implement, Premier Training is a new Salesforce product which combines instructor-led courses and e-learning or online learning modules, as well as private workshops for one price. If you're interested in learning more about Premier Training, talk to one of our experts, Kelly or others in our campground in the expo area. And then lastly, what I would like for you to do before you run off is to complete a very, very short survey, which would be very beneficial to me and Brendan and others so that we know how we're doing. So if you go back into the org, back to the Home tab, scroll down a bit and you'll see where Brendan has that course survey area. Go ahead and click on that link that says course survey. And the class that you just completed is enabling your sales channel with Salesforce CRM Partners. So select that as your class, and then there's a couple of questions that you can answer there. And I want to thank you very much for your attendance today. I hope this was a useful amount of your precious Dreamforce time. You are free to go if you want to go get good seats for the keynote. But for those of you who'd like to stay and ask me some questions, Sophie here has a microphone, and she'll raise your hand if you have a question. Keep your hand up, and she'll get to you, and you can throw some questions my way. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate your time.
Also, just a quick note for any of you that are certified administrators, consultants, or developers, if you visit the Success Team booth, we're giving away some free T-shirts there if you're certified.
Why wouldn't you transfer the ownership of the lead or opportunity to the partner itself as a partner user?
So we just wanted to show, so the question was, why would you transfer, why wouldn't you, I guess it really is the question, why wouldn't you, right, transfer ownership? And yeah, that's actually a very common way that we handle this. We just give everything over to the partner, and we just kind of record it and use it for analytics. And that you could, easy to do that, you just change the owner from Matt Wilson to Arnold Adams. So there's no reason, there's no functionality reason why you could not do that. We just chose not to for this particular class. As you add, would you add it under the, as a partner under the operator? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Okay. Okay, any other, another question, okay.
Yeah, two questions. Number one,
okay.
The description text that we entered on the org opportunity didn't appear on the partners opportunity. That's question one.
Okay.
Is it just not on the layout or whatever?
I think it's because of the layout. I think there may be something in the configuration of these training orgs that prevented that, but I think in practice you'd be able to see that.
Right. And then the second question is, we currently have partners that come in from the opposite direction. They come in through a partner portal out on our website to register deals, leads. So how would that work from the other direction to try to, to use Salesforce Partner Portal and so that they can come into Salesforce?
So you mean they'd be creating records?
Yes, creating leads from their side instead of
very
our side.
Easy to do. So the different roles that you have would allow you to create records through the partner portal. So it's very simple. Think of it like a different view into a Salesforce org's data. So in this case, the partner would go into the leads tab, they'd have the new button, they'd create the new lead, and then once they create that lead, they would presumably be the owner of that so they could always access that. But then we, the channel manager, would also be able to see that from the org's perspective. So very, very easy to do. Yeah, we just didn't use that as this particular example.
Okay, so similar, just the same kind of setup, just they generate it instead of we generate it.
Yeah, so functionality-wise, they're actually creating the record. And they're working the deal, and we're just kind of monitoring that. Again, just kind of like what she was saying, very easy to do. Okay, any other questions? One more question over here. Thanks.
I have quite a few dashboards myself, and I was wondering, is there a way for me to share that with my partners?
Dashboards to your partners? Absolutely. So one of the things that you can also do is, so think of sharing. You know how sharing works? Once you enable the partner functionality, that's another entity, I like to say, that you can share things to. So we share the record to the partner. You can share dashboards as well. So it's just like administering users on an org, but you're administering this other entity called partner users. So absolutely you can do that. And that's a really good way of using dashboards for your partner.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, no. Okay, you guys have a great time at the keynote, and I'll see you sometime in the not-too-distant future. Thanks.
Don't forget to visit Kelly about training in the back.